Hey guys, so we're going to talk about the hamstrings. So first of all, you might not know that the hamstrings are made up of 3 muscles, not just 1 muscle. So there's the one in the middle, which we're just going to call the intermedius hamstring muscle. And then there's the medial hamstring, which is the one that's closest to the midline of the body. And then there's the lateral hamstring, which is the furthest out to the outside of the body. So when you're trying to take care of your hamstrings, you want to address each individual muscle and not just act like it's all just one. So if you're dealing with a hamstring injury, then stretching can be contraindicated, especially when it's acute. What likely happens is that you end up just tearing more fibers. So if you're acutely injured, you want to rest and really just focus on warming up your hamstring. And if you're just trying to maintain hamstring health, also there's a huge focus before you ever stretch that you want to warm up properly. You want to get the blood flowing because you're going to get more out of the stretching. You're going to be safer. You're not going to get injured as easily. And it's going to be a lot more beneficial. So after you've warmed up properly, there are some different kinds of stretching techniques that I'm going to show you that are especially effective for increasing your range of motion, for helping change the resting length of a muscle. So let's say the hamstring the resting length was like this. If you start to become regular about healthy stretching, you can change the resting length to being like this. That can be pretty significant. It can change how you feel in your body. And if you're working on strength, then you're going to be able to increase your muscle capacity in the full range of motion. That's a completely different experience than only having strength in a small range of motion. It's really going to change how things feel. So there's all kinds of ways to warm up, but this is a basic way that's pretty good. First, you're just going to be swinging the leg back and forth. Now, not everybody has the balance to do that without holding on to something, so good to stay near something. And you're going to do, a couple minutes of swings. And then you switch to the other side, and then another great one is going to be swinging this way. And if you're doing this, typically you might not be holding onto something behind you. You might be holding onto something in front of you. But for here, it gets the job done. And then you might do some things like this. And you want to warm up for a few minutes, maybe 5 to 7. So first we're going to go into the warm-up active isolated stretching exercise for the hamstrings. So you're going to want to use a strap, or you can use a tie or a scarf or whatever you have available to you. It doesn't have to be special to work. So first you're going to lay down and you're going to have your leg bent. And it's not about bringing your leg towards your body. It's just about straightening your leg with your foot at different angles. So with your foot neutral, you're just going to straighten the leg, count to about 3, and come down. And then again, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi ends up being about 3. So you're going to do 5 to 8 of those with your foot neutral. Then you're going to turn your leg and your foot in. And again, it's just about straightening the leg. It's not about bringing it towards your body. You want to make sure that you're exhaling as you go into the stretch, and you want to make sure that you're not using your arms to pull your leg up. You're actively using your leg, which makes you get more out of the stretch. And then finally, you're going to turn your leg and your foot out, and you're going to straighten the leg. And so with the different angles, that's how we're isolating the stretch to be in different fibers of the hamstrings. So sometimes if your hamstring is really tight, you might just feel that in your calf, but that's okay. It's still stretching. That's stretching more of the distal part of the hamstrings. And once again, if you're really tight, you might just feel it in the calf. This can get a little confusing. Remember that as we go into the stretch, we're exhaling. Remember that your leg is active the entire time, which allows for you to increase your range of motion a little bit every time you go into the stretch. And it's about 3 seconds long. So once you get to the point where you're really feeling the stretch, you count to 2 Mississippis. So when my foot is in neutral and I'm holding onto the strap, I'm not using the strap until the very end. I'm actively lifting my leg, which is using my quadriceps more, which allows then the hamstrings to stretch more. So with my foot neutral, I'm gonna lift my leg using just my leg until I can't anymore. And I'm gonna pull towards the same shoulder. And then I bring my leg all the way back down. And then again, I lift it and pull it towards the same shoulder. And again, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and I come out of it. So then you do 5 to 8 of those, and then you're gonna turn your leg and your foot in. You're gonna actively use your leg to lift your leg up. Then when you can't anymore, your arms come in, and you pull towards the center of your chest. So with your foot and your leg turned in, you pull towards the center of your chest. And then you're gonna turn your leg and your whole foot out. You're gonna actively lift your leg, just your leg, just your leg, just your leg, and then when you can't anymore, you're gonna pull towards the opposite shoulder. So this is a really great way to isolate different fibers of the hamstrings. You're gonna increase your range of motion. And I even find that when I do these hamstring stretches, sometimes it really can be effective to decreasing low back pain and discomfort as well. It's just a great reminder of how the body is connected.